Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Today I'm super excited to present to you another product from my favorite, by far, creator of smart screen products for your cars, Carpuride. This is Carpuride 125A model. It's a wonderful screen with two dash cameras, high definition IPS touchscreen display, forward-looking 4K camera, and even a reverse camera, even a rear view camera that is available as well here in the same package. It's a 1080p camera. So today we're going to do an early impressions and initial kind of overview of what's in the box, how to install it, and the quality of the screen and cameras. Next time we're going to regroup and talk about connectivity, Android Auto specifically, performance test, and audio tests. How does that sound? Why am I not doing it all in one before you ask? Because, my friends, in all honesty, practice shows that not all of you watch the full length of my videos. So I spend a lot of time, the brands send me these products, I spend a lot of time reviewing them, whatever, but not many of you watch beyond half of the length of the video, even with the chapters provided. So that's just me being honest with you. That's why I think there is very little value for my sponsors and for myself to put it all into one. Hopefully it makes sense. Just stay subscribed, like this video so that more people come to us and I feel a little bit rewarded for my effort and you feel rewarded with two videos going back to back. One this week, another one probably next week, where we'll talk a little bit more about the other features. Makes sense to you? All right, let's talk about this specific product. So it's a big screen, and it's a big screen that is not obtrusive. It's fairly elongated, at the very least, as you can see, form factor here. I don't know if it's purely can be attributed and said that it is a 16:9 classic resolution, or it certainly is not 4:3 as we can see form factor, but it's not 16:9. I think it's a little more elongated personally, but that's just kind of how the eye perceives it. The good thing about having elongated screens like this is that they are not sacrificing the real estate for the view of your camera, for example, or the view of your maps that we're going to be testing next time. But at the same time, they are not tall, those screens. So let's say if you are not driving a van or a bus, and if you're driving a Subaru like I do, the windscreen the space is not that vertical and is not that generous. So it's kind of a bit slopey. There is a rear view mirror over here. So it's kind of a little bit, you don't have all that much visual space to play with. So if you put a smart screen over here that would be too tall, it would be too obtrusive. That's where Carpuride is actually fantastic. And I think this form factor works really, really, really well. All other features kind of, at least what it says on the box, again, like I said, it's a high definition IPS matrix display, touch screen friendly, very, very responsive to touch. I basically tested the whole UI, the whole interface. Basically the cameras are booting up really, really nicely, switching between the cameras, between rear view and front view. I will tell you a little bit more in a second, but it's wonderful. From the screen you can just do the swiping gesture as if you're looking at pictures, and it swipes between the two. But there is another absolutely awesome way to switch between the two views, and that is from the provided 12 volt cigarette lighter power adapter that has a power button on one side and also a USB-A port there to extend and to connect some other devices, such as, I don't know what else you might want, whatever, a fan. But there is also a little button with a symbol R on it on the side, and that button, if it's within reach, if your cigarette lighter is within reach and you don't feel like touching the screen, you can actually press that button and it switches the view to the rear view camera, if you connected it, of course, very nicely. So what's in the box? Let's proceed to talk about what's in the box. In the box is the screen itself, as you can imagine, very nicely packaged without any surprises. Two contraptions, two different brackets basically to fit it in your car. One is a more classically expected bracket that is a suction cup on one side and foldable and extendable, a little bit extendable plastic arm. I would dare say that the screen is rather big and relatively heavy, like it's kind of heavyish. So I would say that if you rely solely on that arm, on that plastic arm, and there is nothing supporting the screen from underneath, like basically it's not resting on anything, I would say that arm is going to be insufficient. It's not going to provide enough of rigidity and enough of the thing to hold it in the air very firmly like for you like this while you're driving around. I don't think so. So in this particular case, as you can see, it's a test installation in case it wasn't obvious, such a crude installation. Of course, it's a test installation. That's why I didn't fit it in my Subaru particularly firmly just yet. Also because I want to test this device in my wife's MG ZST next week. So first impression is that it's a standard contraption, kind of to fit it in your car, but you would have to plan it in such a way that it's holding onto something such as your windscreen on one side with the suction cup, but then the actual screen itself rests on one of the panels in your car. You know what I'm saying? And that way it's going to be really, really rock solid. You're not going to have any issues. Second bracket, in my opinion, I don't even know why they bother with this Carpuride. It's not a negative, I'm just not a fan. I think it's a bit flimsy. It's more designed to sit on a flat surface, and it's all plastic. It's pretty clear. Again, the same kind of bracket at the back, the same kind of plastic screws that you can apply to kind of tighten the screw a little bit and make sure that it sits there where you expect it to. But at the same time, my friends, when you look at this, the base of this second bracket is flexible. It's kind of rubbery, right? The bracket itself is plastic, but it rests on a rubbery surface. And I don't know why they did it, because there is some give to it. So it will be wobbling. It will be not firm. So in my opinion, unless I'm missing something, and I absolutely invite your personal feedback in case you've used this kind of brackets and you see some other purpose that I don't. Of course, some rubberization allows more flexible installation, so you can bend it a bit basically, right? However, it doesn't provide a rigid enough support for this relatively heavy device. So you tell me, I find it a little bit impractical, personally. I already mentioned to you a very creative power cable here, which fits into cigarette lighter, 12 volt. On one side, there is an USB-A port for extensions. On another side, obviously, there is a power button and the switch to the rear view button. Now, what about the rear view camera? Rear view camera is supplied with a massive knot of wires, extension cable, basically, extension cord. I do not know exactly. I'm sure it says somewhere in the manual, and I haven't bothered reading that precisely. It looks like there is a good 5 to 10 meters there, honestly. Probably 5 for sure, 10 maybe is a bit of a stretch. And you can see the black cable is basically the main video signal cable, which is enough to connect it to the Carpuride main system. As you can see, I've done here in test installation and it works fine. And the red cable, in case you don't know, that is a wire to connect to and to wire to your stop signal, to the reverse signal of your vehicle. In that way, when you're reversing, it would automatically switch to the rear view. I am not going to test it. It's one of those invasive installations that I always say no to. I make no apologies. My tests are casual, very dedicated, but not invasive. So this is something, that's what the red cable is for. But like I said to you, in order to make it work, you don't need to use that red cable. It's only for automatic switching of the view, okay? That's all it is. There are obviously some sticky pads there. That is more for that stable bracket, so that to make sure that it works there where you need to stick it, and that's where it's going to be. For the surface, everything is very nicely packaged. Absolutely no worries. I am a big fan of Carpuride, like I already said, especially of their manual. Their manual is like a little mini book, and this mini book tells you quite a lot. It talks you through the whole interface. Interface is very friendly, in my opinion, very self-explanatory. That's why, in all honesty, it will just take you 5 minutes of fun exploration as opposed to reading some booklet to find out exactly how it works. But it's very, very basic. One thing that I have to compliment them on is that they surprised me with the supplied memory card. So the memory card for the dash camera, I didn't have a spare one, and I thought to myself, I was opening this box and I was thinking, it's a shame I wouldn't be able to test the camera, but I actually can, simply because they didn't supply the card separately, but instead they simply plugged it into the main unit straight away. So the main unit, when you take it out of the box, should have that 64 gigabyte memory card already plugged in, ready to go. That is wonderful move, Carpuride. It's kind of like you do something nice, but you don't ask for a compliment. Do you know what I'm saying? They didn't overtly advertise it or put it out there somewhere for you. It's kind of just there. It kind of just works. And I love it. I love it. It's a tiny thing, but I really, really love it. Now, to the cameras. So, when you look at the camera, so front view camera, because it's one of those units that's going to be resting on the dash of your car somewhere, rather than hanging up in the air somewhere where the rear view mirror is, for example, like typical dash cameras do. It has an adjustable eye, so that eye of the camera, the actual lens, is adjustable. It has a little bit of a tilt and a little bit of a pan built into it. It's not massive, so it's not going to allow you to do too much. However, it supports sideways placement of the screen. So if you don't have space, or you simply really would like to keep the whole field of view really empty, nothing prevents you from putting the screen kind of at a little bit of a nice angle, not too much of course, but a little bit of a nice angle, somewhere where the passenger is. So on the kind of passenger side, do you know what I'm saying? That way you'd be able to tilt that camera a little bit forward, and you would still get quite a decent view of the bonnet of your car and what's happening in front. How you feed the rear view camera is really up to you. You would feed the wire through the A-pillar, I imagine, and then towards the back of the car, which I'm not going to do right now. And then the bracket is metal. You can absolutely will use some screws there, or a sticky pads provided, and that's how you're going to fit it in there, so that it kind of works there. So that would be kind of doable. All right. Now, in order for this system to work, your phone needs to support Android 11 Plus. So this is not a system that's going to work with old Android phones by the looks of it. However, if you have been keeping up to date with your operating system updates that you should for your own security, by the way, my friend, then Android 11 Plus is going to make it work. Same for, I imagine, anything that's considered to be a modern enough Apple CarPlay iOS. I am not an Apple user, which is why the whole test today and next time when we return to the performance test, Android Auto and stuff, is going to be on an Android phone. All right. Now, there are extra connectivity options here, so you can connect your phone through Bluetooth. Of course, that's what you normally would do. You would simply pair the device with the Bluetooth. But part of the reason why I'm not testing Bluetooth connectivity and not showing you my usual Maps finger twirl test, performance test, and I'm going to do it next time, is because I'm in my Subaru Outback that's set up currently for camping. It's beautiful weather in Sydney. That's why I'm with this car rather than with our other car, the runaround car that my wife and I use, the MG ZST. Subaru specifically, so that you know, so that you don't think it's a lame excuse, Subaru has a fairly insistent built-in wireless Android auto detection system, which means that whenever I'm with my phone here, it kind of interferes with connectivity of any other devices. That's why I can't properly test wireless connectivity of Android Auto in this particular car, okay? It sort of messes it up. It even shows to me that I'm connected to Carpuride, but it still doesn't show any maps. But you will see them next time, I promise. So we have audio controls, we have FM radio, we have FM connectivity for the audio output here as one of the options. We have aux cable provided for 3.5mm jack, just your usual one, to connect cable-wise from the system to the aux exit if that's what you prefer. We have Bluetooth audio, and we have also the fourth option of built-in speakers. So you don't need any of this as long as you are not a sound gourmet and you're not trying to get the best top quality sound, and all you're happy with is just the built-in speaker talking to you there, how you normally would listen to your phone if you leave your phone on speaker. I often do as well. So a very, very impressive product. Talk to you next time about this. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you're one of the very, very few people, handful probably, who are watching full video into like 14th minute of me talking to you, my friends, I admire you, I appreciate you, you're my supporters, you really mean a lot to me. If you haven't given the video a like yet, please do, because YouTube algorithm is a ruthless thing. If people like it, it shows it to more people. If they don't like it, it doesn't, okay? The more of us here, the merrier. The more motivated I am to give you high quality reviews, and the brands are motivated to send me more nice products. Thanks for being with me. Thank you, Carpuride, for being my friends over all these months and couple of years even already of existence of my channels. And I'll talk to you next time about something else, automotive products related, very likely Carpuride. Goodbye for now.